everybody, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Zee Garcia.
Today we're taking a look at a game called Gatsby, which is about...
Not Gatsby, that's for sure. If I know anything about Gatsby, and I don't, but I've read online, that this isn't really about Gatsby. None of what happens in this game happens in Gatsby. In fact, I think the two characters that we play are made up.
As opposed to Gatsby, who is a real person?
Real person. This is made up, I guess. This is fan fiction for Gatsby.
Got it. This is a Bruno Catala two-player game. It's kind of a tug-of-war style game. Zee's going to show you more, and we'll be right back.
Here we've got the game set up and ready to begin, with one player playing as Dorothy, sitting over here with these pieces, and one playing as James with these pieces. We've already done a random coin toss here, and we had the Dorothy player win. So this player begins with a special tile, and they begin with one token already in the cabaret here on one of those gear spaces. And we are ready to begin. So the game is going to go back and forth with the players taking turns until the end game is triggered. And that end game is going to be triggered either when one of the players has three characters of the same color, and the color is the background, plus there is a symbol here to help you identify characters of the same suit, if you would. For example, this one and this one are of the same suit. So if you have all three of the same suit, you immediately win. Or if you get one of each suit, and there are 5. So either one of those two things will immediately trigger the end of the game. Otherwise, if that doesn't happen by the time one of these 3 locations is emptied of characters, of which there are 3 here, there's 4 here, and there are these 5 here, then players are going to compare prestige, with the prestige being these stars on the characters they do have. That's what's going to be happening. And so, starting with this player, they're going to select an action down here that they would like to do. If they have their own special action, they could select that, and then once it's done triggering, they discard it. They cannot choose the opponent's special action. And they could always, of course, choose one of these, but you must move. So if this player chooses this action, on the next turn, this player over here will flip this over and must choose a different action. They could do either one of these, they could do this one, or they could do their own special action. All right? So what are these actions and what is going on in each of these 3 sections? So we've got this symbol here, which is going to let you place tokens in the cabaret. And the idea in the cabaret is you are trying to connect one side of the cabaret to the other side with orthogonally adjacent pieces. If you manage to do that, you get this character here. If you connect this side down to here, you get this character. If you control all 4 of the gear locations at the same time, you get this character who is face down right now. And that is the cabaret. If you choose to go here, the 2 pieces have to be adjacent. So you place one next to something else, and then you'll place another one next to that first one you placed. Okay? You'll see combinations of these things, such as over here, and this one's going to let you go to the finance center, which is in the middle. When you take that action there or there, and if there's 2 things, you can do them in either order, by the way, then you are going to move your piece up the financial center here and get bonuses as you pass things. If you are the first one to achieve this level here, you'll get this character. You will also unlock a special ability for the other player when they pass or reach that spot there. Normally you move up once on this column if you are in the front or you are both tied. But if you are behind the other player, you move up twice. And there's a little reminder of that right there. If we go over here to this symbol, that is going to let you place some tokens in the racetrack. Obviously, this lets you place one. It'll go into any of these 5 lines. It has to go to the farthest left open spot. If you go to this one, you'll get to place 2, but they have to go to different tracks. And once a track is full here, you will compare who's got the most influence there, and they will get the corresponding character. Once that happens, these tokens will clear out, and we will block that lane so that it will not start replenishing again, because this is not going to be replenished. And so that is the idea. And so taking a couple of turns here, we go over here, And this player is going to, let's say, go there. Okay, she's going to move up once on the financial center here, and she just hit a symbol, and so you get to trigger that ability. There's a few different ones that repeat in all three sections. This one here that shows 2 tiles and the arrows is going to allow you to take a look at 2 tiles. If they're face down, you get to peek at them, and then you may trade them. And they can come from the same section, they can come from 2 different sections. And so this player now might perhaps take a look at, let's say, this tile, take a look at that tile, peek at both face down, and then choose to swap them or not and put them back. If they're both face down, by the way, they go back face down, right? And you do not have to tell the other player if you did indeed swap them. If one's face up or both, then you'll put them back in the orientation they were. And so this player will do that. Let's say they looked at a couple of things and chose to swap them or not, and then they'll go over to this section and put a token here because she got a peek at that and she likes it. Now it goes to the other player who is going to flip this over and move it, and perhaps they'll go here. And they're going to put out one piece that must go next to something already in there, and then another piece that must go next to that one. And here we have a new symbol. That symbol denotes, with the hand sort of pointing like this, that symbol denotes you're going to tell your opponent what action they'll pick on their very next turn. And so this player would go, I want you to go here. Okay, well, she has no choice but to go there. She'll put out a piece herself. Maybe she'll go here, let's say, and take this special action. That special action lets you move up in the finance center there. So she'll move up once in the finance center. And then for the second ability is this one. She'll move up in the finance center again. She's only moving one because she's ahead, by the way. But upon reaching that spot, boom, she now controls this character. And if the game comes down to prestige, then she's got a nice lead there. She's going to hang on to that. And this stays open again. Now, when this player reaches that spot, they'll take one of these 2 options. Game goes over here, and this player would go. Again, if the player ever takes their own special ability, they will activate that. Let's say 2 in the same one. Maybe they'll do this. And then this goes away, and turn goes over to the other player. Some locations will let you gain one of those, and then when you gain one, you'll take a look at 3, and you'll pick one of these 3 that have special abilities here, and then you will place that over here, like so. Now, if you already had a tile here, and you draw 3, place 1, you can keep one and place it, and then set this aside, or you can just leave this one and set a different one aside of the 3 you acquired. The point being, if this is filled, when you would fill it, the one you're not keeping, you should set that aside because it's worth 1 prestige point if the game comes to prestige points. If that's the scoring that happens at the end and there isn't a sudden death, then this will be worth 1 more. So Dorothy here would, if she has all this, would have 1, 2, 3, 4 for this, if she ended up doing that. This continues back and forth with the players again, either getting to a win, 3 of the same type of character, or 1 of each of the different 5 suits, or emptying a region of these people. Once that happens, then that player is going to be, if it does happen, that player wins. If it does not happen, then you're going to count up that prestige. And I think I showed you most of the symbols. There is a couple more. This one lets you swap out 2 of these influence tokens from anywhere. You do not re-trigger the abilities, but you can swap 2 here. You can swap 1 from here with 1 from here, or even something like this. And then this one here is the one that lets you get a new tile, special ability. And I think that's largely it. That's, I think, all of them. The gears are here just so that if you ever control all 4, you get this tile right here. So there you go, folks. That should do it. Let's go ahead and go back up top.
The game looks fine. If you're looking for that 1920s flapper style, yay.
Yeah. I like the artwork. I like the art in the game. I just think it doesn't look very captivating because that no one part of it draws me into anything real. The closest thing would be the horse race, various lanes, and, horses kind of in the background anyway, sort of, going for it. But the club is clearly just a grid. And then particularly egregious is the moving up in the financial world, whatever that one means, is particularly egregious,
You really got to just kind of put the theme out of your mind at all.
Yes, but the 3 activities are also very abstract, is my point, that...
Yeah, well, horse race is area control, which is not how races work.
Right.
The one in the middle is the race.
Being at the club, you're at a night, I think it's a nightclub or something like that, and you're trying to influence people by
holding
running
hands
from one side to the other side. I'm not sure I understand anything here thematically, how they settled on this theme.
I really think the game was made, I would bet the game was made first.
Yes. And I would say, why not retheme it? But honestly, I have no idea what you could put on this that it would be better. Anything would work.
Now, there are a lot of 2-player games with unknown or no themes that I still tend to like. So
yes.
Let's talk about gameplay.
Right.
The game first of all, it has one of the most unique second-player catch-up
Setups,
mechanisms where they get a special spot that they can go to. That's kind of cool. It almost makes you want to go second.
Right, and that is, I think, one of the most interesting parts in this game. It's an action selection game, and you must select a different action than the last players, but you might have your own. You might have your own multiple times in the game. And that's the cleverest part, I would say, the most engaging, the most sneaky and fun part of it is I have a thing I can do that you will never quite be able to do.
I wish you could do it more. And that's actually going to be kind of a theme of mine for a lot of this game. Mm-hmm. Because what Gatsby does is as the game progresses, things get less interesting, I think. Like there are horse races. The one spot, you can go on 2 different horse races. But eventually you'll be down to 1.
Right. You're pretty close to the end of the game. But the point is still that you get fewer and fewer options as the game goes on because things shut down.
Right, and where you're crossing the party, if you cross it horizontally, now we're only going up and down. And if you have taken those 4 spaces, then that's no longer... It just feels like the tension gets less, which is weird.
Yeah.
The weirdest one, and I know that you probably have more of a problem with this than I do, is the race. I keep saying a race, but the race in the middle, climbing up the financial ladder or whatever.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Because it becomes a really weird game of chicken.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, oh, I don't want to move next because we're 2 spaces away from the spot that gives you something. So I want you to move so that then I can move too. And Z is thinking the same thing. So we're both ignoring that spot until finally someone does it, or I pick a thing that forces you to do it.
Right? Which I would say I wasn't sure I was going to like that action. You have the little bonuses, swap 2 people, peek at a thing and put it back, But the most interesting, it turns out, is the one I thought I wouldn't like, which is tell your opponent where they have to go, which action they must select. Now, they can do whatever they want to with that action, right? But they got to go there.
Right.
And I like that. I actually thought that was very, very clever and interesting because you can then force somebody's hand. I want you to go to the climbing the ladder because you're in front or we're tied. You move 1 and I get to slingshot with my next selection. That's clever. And the way you win the game I thought was also interesting, actually. This is sort of a Catala classic at this point. But this idea of you can sudden death with 3 of the same color, 1 of each of the 5 colors, and if that doesn't happen, okay, fine, count your stars.
It almost has the Lord of the Rings duel
it feels
sort of
like
feel
that.
to it. In fact, this almost feels like a rejected
Lord of the
candidate
Rings
for that game,
wow,
actually.
That's interesting. You think maybe if we could retheme this? The club is Middle Earth, and you're trying to cross the land.
And the middle is the part where you're throwing the ring in?
The middle is the... no idea. It does. You know what? Now that you say that, it kind of does feel like Yeah, kind of like a first draft of that. Unfortunately, this is coming out later, but it does feel a little bit like a first draft of that. And I think that's ultimately my issue. I like this game okay. I don't have a big problem with it, but my problem with it is it just lacks excitement.
I agree. I want it to be like there's really clever things. Forcing your opponent to do something, getting your own special tile that you have access to once.
Yeah.
And those things don't happen enough. And then as the game goes by, everything happens less. Mm-hmm. And the game almost fizzles. It doesn't quite fizzle. I don't want to make it sound bad.
That's what I'm saying. I enjoyed playing. There were some moments of like, ooh, nice play. Well done. Okay, I see what you did. You got me. You tricked me. You're forcing my hand. Whatever. But it lacks real good highs. It's a fairly... Maybe in thematic, the most thematic thing about it is that the whole time you're playing, you're going, yes, nice. You know what I mean? There's no
Gatsby.
There's no high highs in this game. There's none of that moment of like, I'm going to play this card and I'm going to move up in the financial thing 3 times. Once in the game, I can do a crazy thing. No, that will never happen.
Yeah, so for me, it's almost there. It's. I wouldn't say no to playing it necessarily because it's not long.
Right.
It's fast. It's simple. The theme doesn't hurt or help it.
Yes.
It's
attractive, I think, you know.
But there are other duel games that I would like better. This one's a 6 for me. I'm not going to say bad about it, but I just can't really say it's one I think people should get either.
That's kind of... I was thinking 6 in my head, too. It's between a 5 and a 6. A 5 feels a little too harsh because I have a good time, but with other options available, and boy, are there other options available for 2-player games, I don't think I'll ever reach for this one. I'm going to give it a 6 also because, again, if you are someone who maybe enjoys that the literary sort of reminder that this book exists, but I don't know. Yeah, It's very subtle. You need to know that going in. You have to enjoy a subtle game, okay? If you're going to go for this one, but also expect that it's going to feel very abstract and it's going to feel a little monotone in the development of what's going on.
Well, there you go, folks. That's Gatsby, a 2-player game. Check it out. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Zee Garcia.
And you're Gatsby. Thanks for watching another video here on the Dice Tower. We really appreciate you stopping by and checking our things out. Thanks so much for joining us today. And hey, if you really like what we're doing here at the Dice Tower, then there are different ways to support the Dice Tower. One of those ways is through Patreon. We have links in the description to this video, and we have links to lots of other things we do down there, so definitely check it out. But either way, we're glad you watched us. Tell your friends about the Dice Tower. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vasel, and I hope you enjoyed this video.